They will call the Harrison County Commission meeting for May 18th, 2022 to order. If you will join- Stand and join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Treecost, are you on Zoom?
Yes, I am.
Is there anyone signed up to speak?
No, Commissioner.
Anyone on Zoom wish to speak publicly? Anyone on Zoom wish to speak publicly? Consent agenda, what's the pleasure?
Motion approved and adopt in the record.
Number 2, consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Payroll change notices, we have A, B, and C. What's the pleasure? Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve number 3, A through C. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none.
Aye.
motion carried. We have no minutes. Minutes of the previous meeting. Requisitions, number 5A. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved 5A.
Motion's been made to approve 5A. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 6, exonerations, corrective tickets. I guess we just have exonerations as shown on Exhibit A. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved exoneration tickets, please.
Motion to approve exonerations, 5A, is that correct? Is that your motion?
Yes, please.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Looks like we do not have any requisitions regarding Charles Point and White Oaks, number 7. So we will move on to number 8, consideration of approval of project fund requisitions for the payment of costs associated with the General Services Administration Building Project to be financed from proceeds of Series 2020 bonds issued for the Harrison County Building Commission. A, requisition number 63 for Silling Associates, $36,962.42. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved as stated.
Motion to approve number 8A. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 9, review, discuss, consider permission to travel for Richard Southpaw ATI training for CEUs required for licensure. Erickson Alumni Center in Morgantown on June 6th for community corrections. Gary, do you want to say anything about that?
Needed for his, CEUs for his license.
What's the pleasure for number 9?
Motion approved, please.
Motion to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 10, review, discuss, consider community development block grant CARES Act A, B, and C. Is there anyone to speak to this? Oh, sorry, Michelle.
Oh, I'm Michelle Ogden from the Harrison County Grants Department. This is our CDBG CARES and COVID award. We partnered with Community Action, Central West Virginia Community Action, to carry out those activities. Their executive director came a few weeks ago, Shannon Sneed, to speak to you about potentially letting the state take back some money because they weren't able to give it all out in mortgage assistance as they had wanted. In subsequent conversations with the state, what we've decided to do, they're allowing us to extend it for 1 year. So we will actually, the amount of money, which is $75,000, will stay the same. There will also be a budget amendment, which will allow us or allow them to use it for utility assistance and rental assistance in addition to mortgage assistance. So that's what you, right, so, and that's what's in front of you is the grant amendment to change the length, the period of the grant, and the budget amendment to change the breakdown of how it is allowed to be spent. And there's also an invoice from them, which we will pay, that it's not, that's not up for discussion at this time. We will present that separately, but it just shows how much money they have spent so far, which is only $1,500. So,
Out of the grant.
Right.
Okay, what's the pleasure on number 10?
Motion approved. Thank you, Michelle.
you're welcome.
Motion to approve number 10. A and B, I guess. C was just for information purposes. Is that your motion to approve A, 10?
A and B, please. Yes.
Any further discussion? Thank you for the explanation. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 11, review, discuss, consider poll workers' compensation for general election and discuss possibility of placing 6 poll workers instead of alternates. John, I believe you requested this.
Very preliminary on if we're even allowed to have 6 and get rid of an alternate. I'm not even sure of that, but I thought we could get the ball rolling and discuss it. We have a very hard time getting alternates because they don't know if they can work or not. I thought that might be a good way of having an extra body there, no matter what, if there was a cancellation. And then as far as increase on what they make, we haven't given them a raise since 2018. And they make okay money. If you hear it by the hour, they're around $12.30 an hour if you do it hourly. But things keep getting more complicated with machines. Our instructions for classes are 2 hours now, just to go over all of the things we would like to go over. And I don't think it will solve all of our problems, but I think it will definitely help if we can figure out a way to give these folks a little bit more money. Like all jobs, if you have trouble getting people, it tends to help if you offer them a little bit more money.
So if I'm reading this, how much are you asking for? I mean,
This is for 15 per category. The large number, if we were to give these folks this raise, it would cost us about $21,440 per election cycle, per election, if we were to give them this raise. I know Mon County, they just went even more than this. This puts them at about $250 for the day. Mon County just raised theirs for the primary to, I want to say, $272 or $274. And they did it as a direct response of, hey, we really can't get workers. Let's try and get some more money out there. That way maybe we can get a few more people to come in. So this is even below what they come in at. So that's kind of how we arrived at this number. So it is a hefty chunk of change, obviously $21,000, but I think it's money well spent. These people have a very, very long day and their job is very important.
How many hours do they spend, John?
Well, roughly 12 hours for the day of. and then 2 hours for training. So you're looking at, and it just depends. Some of them go above and beyond. Some people call us because they want extra instructions. Some people come in because they would really like a one-on-one with the machine so they can feel more comfortable when they're working. So it just kind of depends, but I think 15 hours is a pretty good guess. And if you were to all factor in traveling and all that type of stuff, some of these people have to be in Wallace at 5:30 in the morning, and they might not live anywhere near Wallace. So we do ask a lot of these people.
Do we pay for their training?
We do, yeah. We pay right now, we pay $30 for the class fee, so we're looking at increasing that by $5 also.
I mean, everybody's wearing former clerk. I'm not opposed to raising it. I don't know that that's actually going to help the situation. I know in the past, you dangle some money out in front of them, they show up, they spend one day, and that's it, you never see them again. It's getting harder and harder, and I just think it's the generation. You've got some folks that work the polls, and they love doing it because that is their social event for the day. I mean, and I don't mean to disagree. It may help some, but I don't think it's going to really help a whole lot. And I love the poll workers, and I respect every one of them, and I'm behind them 100%. As far as the 6 poll workers, I wouldn't do anything on that until somebody gives us the okay legally to do that. That's my 2 cents.
No, I agree. I don't think it's a silver bullet by any means. I think we need to do something. We are by the skin of our teeth every election. I've done a bunch with you. Now I'm doing them by myself. We're gonna run out of luck. We are going to.
And
I
that's why
promise you.
that's why
we
I've
will.
been preaching to a lot of people. We need to figure out another way to do this. But people still want to go to the polling place, believe it or not. They don't want to go, some of them don't want to go too far. I'm not saying it's the majority. And they learned this time that they had to go farther because of the redistricting, and that was not the county's fault. And I want to make sure everybody's aware of that. That was the state that did that. Another thought, probably should have asked for some of this at budget time too, so we could have budgeted for this. Anybody have anything else to say? I'm going to shut up now.
Susan, I'll make a motion to approve as stated by the clerk.
I don't, okay. He doesn't have this in his budget. Maybe the joint-
Would you like for me to make the motion that we approve and do a budget revision later?
I mean, I'm just, make your motion and we'll move on.
Okay.
I think Susan and John, you both know that one thing we need to cut back on the number of precincts. And I agree with you, there's got to be a way that we can make this issue work without, if we're having to pay people to come to work, then we need to find a way to get the public back involved and want their own. Help with elections other than just throwing $200 or $300 at. Unlike you, I don't know if you get them anyway. So I'd like to revisit it with fewer precincts. See, John, if you can get the amount of poll workers straightened out, give us an opinion. And I think we have time to look at this raise. This isn't something we have to do today.
No.
I'd like to know if we can adjust the polls, cut down on the amount of poll workers, and see if we can do what you want with all of this.
We have, did you want to say something? Fred?
In respect to the motion, I wanted to check with the Secretary of State's office if there was going to be a motion to go to 6 poll workers before we took action. That was my only comment.
I believe we can ask for what we want. I don't know if you're allowed to say, yes, we can do that, but we're still probably have to get an alternate. That's what I'm not sure.
I know in a presidential, well, that's the way it was when I was clerk, you could get additional during a presidential election. Midterm, I'm not sure if that has changed. That's something we need clarification. So you still want your motion, Patsy? As stated by the clerk,
You know, if you and David want to wait, I'll wait.
and you want to withdraw your?
Yeah, my motion is as stated by the clerk, but are you two wanting to wait until he see?
Not
I don't
really.
know. I'm asking you two.
Oh, you want to make your motion?
I'll follow you two's lead. We know we have a problem and I'll work with whatever solution you want.
Wait and take a long look at this. Like David said, we don't have to, it doesn't have to be done today.
Okay, then I'll withdraw the motion and we'll work on this and come back to it.
So we can put this on the table items. Hey, you want to do that? Okay. You okay with that, John? Okay. Number 12, review, discuss, consider selling excess county property, approve sale of property and requirements to purchase stated property. Okay, I think this is for some clarification from last week. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am, because I still don't know what we're doing.
Okay. Mr. Treecost, do you want to clarify your motion from last week?
Madam President, I'm not sure. There's 3 pieces of property, one in Hepzibah, one that we refer to as the Maple Lake property on 279, and then the piece of the Retino property on 279. And we made the motion to go ahead and put those 3 pieces of property out for auction and have the county attorney begin to do the guidelines on the Retino property.
I don't think anybody in the room here, Patsy, quite got that from the last meeting. And I do not understand why you think that that's the attorney's job to come up with how the property is to be sold. That's our job to determine what we want as far as how the property is to be sold. And I think Susan and I were expecting more information on what was to be added to each of these pieces of property, if anything, as far as what you want exempted or what you wanted added to the sale of each one of these properties.
I just wanted to make sure that we got the properties that he wanted to sell clarified, because I think that was a little confusing. But I understand getting advice from the attorney to move forward, how we should move forward. I believe that's what he was wanting. Is that true, Commissioner Treecoff?
Yeah, Madam President, you know, we went in to make sure we had 10 acres that were going to be part of the youth farm complex. And also then the other 44 acres that we want to make sure that we don't do anything that could put the airport restrict, you know, that would hurt the airport. We know we can't have residential. We know we can have commercial, industrial, and you know, I think our county attorney is best to make sure that we have that written correctly.
Well, okay, I'll ask the first question for the attorney, because I'm hoping he asked it, but you want 10 acres flat developed, or do you want 10 raw acres? How many acres do you expect to get out of the 10 acres? Because he doesn't know, I don't know.
The 10 acres is for the youth complex barn. That's what it's
Susan, do you
for.
want 10 flat acres, or do you want 10 raw acres? There's a big difference. I can give you 10 raw acres and you might get 2 acres out of it. It might cost you put 1 million or 2 million in EPA's funding to get it done. I'm trying to understand what this commission is trying to attempt. And at this point, there's nobody in the county, including myself, that seems to be able to get an answer to what we're trying to do. So again, is it 10 acres flat or is it 10 acres raw land? You can't go sell the property if you don't tell whoever wants to buy it, whether or not they're giving up 10 acres of flat land or giving up 10 acres of raw land. And you're gonna have to decide how the entrance is handled. There's one entrance into the property.
Well, that's
There's no
something that
other
can be
entrance. Well, no,
dealt
it's
with in the
something.
future. I mean, that's something we need to sit down and discuss.
Well, then why are we selling something when we don't even know if it's gonna be something that somebody wants to sell or why are we selling it?
Well, if you don't think anybody wants it, then we'll still have it if nobody buys it.
How do they buy it if they don't know what they're buying?
Well, that's what we need to discuss and come up with a definite plan.
Commissioner Treecost thinks that's up to Trey Zimmerman's discernment. And I'm
I
sorry,
don't know.
Trey wasn't voted to make those decisions. You were voted, I was voted, he was voted.
Commissioner, it's not up to me to decide what the ultimate conditions are. And let me kind of walk you through what my process is going to be and how I believe what I was asked to do with Laura, County Administrator's Assistance. First, I start with the vesting documents into the county. I make sure there are no restrictions on sale, transfer, or alienation of the property. We've gathered those to look at. Second, I was going to develop a list of conditions with parcel overlays of the acreage. You all are going to have to designate the 10 acres, what you all want to keep, because I don't know. Going to have to designate what type of site development you anticipate, who's going to do that, how it's going to be funded, and the terms and conditions are going to ultimately be up to the commission, because I agree, it's your all's job to do that. It's a process. It's not a, we're going to put it out to bid tomorrow. That's not what we talked about doing last week. We went through a number of mechanisms or ways to sell property or develop property, kind of 2,000-foot overview, but it is a process. I was assigned the task of creating the initial list as the kickoff point is how I took it to get started on the project.
We're selling the gas rights. Is that part of the deal, Patsy?
I wouldn't let you sell the gas rights or the development rights.
No,
but
I don't know
we've
what
never
the
done that.
intentions are.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
I
don't
mean,
know
it
if you all,
changes whether or not somebody's interested or not. What I'm trying to find out, what we're doing. This is some kind of game that's being played that nobody wants to say what the ultimate purpose is. If we're doing this for a youth barn and giving up some of the most valuable property in Harrison County for a youth barn, then we all ought to be recalled and sent out. That's all I can say, because we're not being good fiduciaries to the people of Harrison County by worrying about a youth barn. There's lots of places to put it. We don't even have a clue what a youth barn costs. We don't even have a layout of what we want to do, but we know 10 acres seems to work, but we don't know if it's 10 acres of raw land, 10 acres of flat land. We don't know how it's going to be set up on property. We have not done any due diligence as a commission, but we're going to sell that property. But we have other property that we're not selling, but I don't know why, that we have debt on. I would think maybe he would want to sell the property we have debt on so that we're not making annual payments. So I'm not sure what the push is for this particular piece of property. And it doesn't want to be discussed. And I just find it odd that there's more than one spot to put a youth barn, and why we would take land that, let's see, I just got an appraisal the other day for finished property up at the airport. It's not in the airport property. The land value is over 300,000 an acre once it's developed. I would think that was something that the county would want to look at that if they went ahead and developed, it would be a heck of an asset with 54 acres. It has the potential probably to come out with 30 acres at 300,000 an acre. That's a pretty valuable piece of land. And we're getting rid of it for a 4-H barn. That's the impression I'm getting. And as far as the other two pieces, again, no requirements. Nobody wants to discuss the Maple Lake property, the farms at Maple Lake, what's going to be done with it. And I have no idea whether or not the lot on Route 19, whether it needs any conditions. This is just a typical haphazard 1 mile overflight of this commission. Just pass something and let it just finish up. We're talking about an investment that this county commission made previously that's good for the county, good for the citizens, and good for North Central West Virginia. And our plan is sell it. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a motion to pull the 6.65 acres and the 53.9 acres not to be sold until a plan can come up with, somebody can come up with a plan that addresses the use of the property, our use of the property, and how this benefits the people of Harrison County.
And the motion's been made to remove the 6.5 acres and
3.94 acres.
53.94 acres from the sale. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Mr. Treecost, are you still on Zoom?
Did. Correct?
Yep. Okay, I have 1028, and we had a 1020 proclamation for the CEOs. You guys want, the gals want to come up? Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Whereas, as West Virginia Community Educational Outreach Service, otherwise known as CEOs, CEOS, I'm sorry. Correct me anytime.
I will.
Okay, and Harrison County CEOS are volunteers whose mission is to broaden public service in our communities for the betterment of all its citizens and society as a whole. And whereas, working in partnership with the WVU Extension Service, members of the Harrison County CEOS strive to strengthen the lives of individuals and families in Harrison County through continuing education, leadership development, and community involvement. And whereas, throughout West Virginia, more than 3,000 CEOS members make substantive contributions in their communities in numerous ways, including but not limited to supporting education by raising money for college and 4-H scholarships, assisting schools by volunteering in literacy programs, nurturing healthy lifestyles by sponsoring health fairs and breast cancer awareness programs. and helping sustain communities by assisting with flood relief, stocking food pantries, and beautifying public spaces. And whereas to ensure that the West Virginia CEOS organizations continue to meet the individual and collective needs of the residents of our rural and urban areas, we must support in every possible way the vital mission of these organizations so that their continued success is assured. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Harrison County Commission does hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through May 25th, 2022 as Community Educational Outreach Service, CEOS Week. Be it further resolved that the Harrison County Commission recognizes their significant service and contribution to the well-being of family and community, passed by the County Commission of Harrison County, West Virginia, this 18th day of May, 2022. God bless you all. Thank you. I know you do a great service for the county. Speech.
The CEOS, we always have trouble wanting to call us CEOs. Well, we are four words, it's like, so we're trying to get everybody trained to say CEOS because we do
You just
a
trained
lot
me.
of, I just trained her. I heard one of our directors one time call us CEOs. I felt like standing up and saying that, you're in charge of all of us, but anyway, but we are a great organization. We do a lot of volunteer work. We volunteer and help our veterans, especially our members are getting very devoted to collecting supplies for our veterans hospital and nursing home. We do a lot of community work in our own communities that we volunteer for different things that we do. And we're just a great organization for people to be into. And if people would like to join us, you just call the extension office and they will send you to one of our clubs. We have 16 clubs in our county now. And we've lost a lot of members and COVID hasn't helped a thing for everybody involved, but we are a great organization for anybody who'd like to join us. Thank you.
And we have many members who serve during the elections. We
Yes, you
have
do.
quite a few
Yes, you
members
do.
who work elections. So we are very active with that as well.
Thank you very much. Good one, girls.
Thank you.
Sorry, I messed up.
That's okay. I'll get you trained.
Yes, you will. No doubt in my mind. Not on the agenda. We got one more action here. We can go ahead and say, well, maybe not. Take care of. You want, go ahead and read whatever it is you want to read.
Well, I can.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
May 24th, Charles Taylor Day. May 24th, all over the United States, this day is recognized as Charles Taylor Day, a day honoring aviation maintenance technicians from around the world. Charles Edward Taylor was born May 24th, 1868, and began working as a machinist for Orville and Wilbur Wright at the Wright Cycle Company in Dayton, Ohio in 1902. Using only a metal lathe, drill press, and hand tools, in 6 weeks, he built a 12 horsepower engine that was used to power the Wright brothers' first flying machine. American took place in aviation history when the Wright brothers successfully flew his airplane in controlled flight on December 17, 1903. He had a successful career in aviation maintenance for more than 60 years and was honored by the Federal Aviation Administration with the establishment of the Charles Edward Taylor Master Mechanic Award, which recognizes individuals with 50 years or more of aviation maintenance experience. Charles Taylor has become a hero to the aircraft maintenance technicians worldwide. And to honor this date with advanced public appreciation for the significant and vital contributions of our very own aviation maintenance technicians employed here at the CKB complex. The duties of the aviation mechanic or maintenance technicians are critical to the United States Homeland Security, an integral component of the national aerospace industry here at North Central West Virginia Airport, which is governed by Marion and Harrison County. And with our world-renowned businesses that called home, we have a total estimated annual regional impact output of over 1.1 billion. Critical component of our economic impact is due to part to the FAA certification maintenance technicians, where the training required of this esteemed workforce can be found at our very own Pierpont Community and Technical College, which is right now the only institution in West Virginia offering FAA certified programs in aviation maintenance technology. We want to recognize our very own Harrison County Academy of Aviation Technology, helping to train our high school students to enter this aviation workforce. The aviation maintenance technicians that live in Harrison County are and will continue to be too important to supporting the economic development across the region and the state for years to come. We recognize the life and memory of Charles Edward Taylor, the aviation maintenance technician who built and maintained the engine that was used to power the Wright brothers' first controlled flight. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 13, review, discuss, amend ARPA fund grant awards. Somebody speak to this?
Yeah, we're paying for sweeper trucks. I want to know why we didn't make the same offer to Lumberport or any other places that they could buy equipment. Lumberport came and had to finance a pump truck to pump out their septic system, and we didn't. Nobody talked to them that they could have the grant that we offered them to pay for the truck. So I just want everybody I'd like for us to make whatever it takes that if people want to understand that they can purchase equipment, that they don't have to put sewer lines or water lines or internet in. They can just purchase equipment that they says falls under maintenance or improving that stuff. So I just want to make sure that all the entities that were promised money understand that if the sweeper truck qualifies, then we need to let them be able to bring things to this commission to look at. Other than thinking that they can only do a sewer line. We didn't do that with City of Shinnston. I still don't even know how that even got to the commission. I still don't understand why the commission never discussed it. But I think that what's good for one is good for all of them. And I think Lumberport and any other community that got the money should be able to look at it in that light.
And I think most of them are aware of what they can get under the ARP funds. And I just want to point out, you were appalled at the way the requisition was done last week. You signed the requisition that had the invoice attached along with an email that set forth that it was a street sweeper.
Reimbursement, nobody said it was ARP funds.
It was right there. So I just want to point that out. But each entity should be aware of what they can use their funds for. My knowledge was something they could use their funds for. I wasn't here. I'm not- Is there anything else on 13?
I make a motion that we adjust and inform all entities that grants were applied to take equipment.
Okay, motion's been made that we notify all entities that they can purchase equipment with their ARP funds. Any discussion?
Susan,
Yes,
Susan, there is discussion. They can buy equipment with their ARP money, and they don't need to be notified. They have a direct line not only to the auditor's office in Charleston, but also to the federal office in Washington, D.C. This has all been identified meeting after meeting throughout our state and throughout the rest of the country of what they can and can't use their money on. So there's a process in place, and we do not need to add to it. It is far above our level and has.
Why is it wrong to notify them if they don't know?
David, they do know, and
Yeah, I
they
know.
have been notified, and there is a process in place for them to receive the information.
Yeah, I don't understand why we just can't notify them that they can use money for equipment. What's so
Because that
terrible
has
about
already taken place on the state and federal level, all the notification process. And I really, quite frankly, listen to you, I realize we are the last person to tell them what they can and can't do, because obviously we're not sure ourselves. Now, I have some sort of an idea because I followed the trail for a year and a half. However, they do know what they can and can't do, and there are people that they contact to ask these questions.
any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? No.
No,
And it's 10:42, and I believe we had a 10:40 proclamation drug court month. Is that talking?
Yes.
Come up there. Chicken.
Take a picture here.
Take a picture and then come
This
out.
is smaller print, so bear with me. Okay, whereas Harrison County Adult and Juvenile and Veterans Treatment Courts have been restoring lives and families for years. And whereas there are now nearly 4,000 treatment courts nationwide, and whereas treatment courts are the cornerstone of justice reform sweeping the nation. And whereas treatment courts have served more than 1.5 million individuals. Wow. And whereas, it doesn't say why. And whereas they are now recognized as the most successful justice system intervention in our nation's history. And whereas they save an average of $6,000 for every individual they serve. And whereas treatment courts significantly improve substance use disorder treatment outcomes, substantially reduce addiction and related crime, and do so at less expense than any other criminal justice strategy. And whereas treatment courts improve education, employment, housing, and financial stability, promote family reunification, reduce foster care placements, and increase the rate of addicted mothers, delivering babies who are fully drug-free. And whereas treatment court facilities community-wide partnerships, bringing together public safety and public health. And whereas treatment courts demonstrate that when one person rises out of a substance use and crime, we all rise. Therefore, be it resolved that the Harrison County Commission declares May as Drug Court Month. throughout Harrison County, and encourage all who read these words to share this proclamation so that the voices of Harrison County Drug Court can be heard through their service and inspire others to rise out of the substance abuse and crime and make a difference in their communities and the lives of the citizens of Harrison County, West Virginia, passed by the County Commission of Harrison County, West Virginia, this 18th day of May 2022. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Somebody want to speak to the
I guess I will. Kind of wish the judge was here. Attorneys are a whole lot better at speaking than I am. People open up the paper, they see the news every day of the bad stuff. There are some good things happening. I was skeptical before I became chief and was really involved with it. But once you get involved with drug
tell
court,
us who you are. Mike.
oh, I'm Mike Burnside. I'm the chief probation officer, and this is Melanie Edmond, adult drug court probation officer. We have Gary down there from David Fort. But like I said, I was skeptical, but when you see the changes that some people do make, now I agree that it is few, but the ones that do make changes, we've had people that have had babies that are not drug addicted. We have people that are really contributing members of society. They put in a lot of hard work. And drug courts are a positive thing for people. I wish we had more people in our drug court than we do in the county. But it is really a good program. It works if people work it.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
service.
If I can say something, we run federal, state, and we're a part of the juvenile drug court. They wouldn't even be possible there's the treatment team and there's you guys, but really we're fortunate on all three of those levels to have great judges.
Yes.
Judge Conley does juvenile drug court, Judge McCarthy does adult drug court, and Judge Alloy does federal drug court. We have a great relationship with all of them, but if they weren't compassionate judges, this wouldn't work.
Right. And we also have the VA. We have a veterans treatment court where we have representatives from the VA, and that's where they get their treatment too.
Well, thank you for your service. You want to say anything?
I was gonna say, it's just a pleasure to live in the county, work in the county, and see county lives changing. Recovery happens. Drug court is not easy. A lot of people think it's an easy way for them to get out of jail, and soon many of them find it's not easy at all, and it's really difficult. And as Danny said, Gary, sorry, as Gary said, our judges are fabulous. If it wasn't for our judges and Judge McCarthy with adult and veterans treatment court, compassion. And that's, Sherry is not able to be with us. She's in a court hearing. Is Sherry outside now? Sherry with Judge Conley is amazing. We're very lucky in Harrison County to have who we have.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Administrator's not here, so there is no report.
Can I say two things real
Sure.
quick? And I'm not the county administrator.
You're sitting.
One is I was tasked with trying to help with the move to the new facility, and I just want to let you know that I've gotten all the players on board as far as each office that's moving over there, and we are meeting weekly. We meet today at 1:30 in your conference room here to try to basically push that out to each office and let them have a part. They've all toured it for the first time last week, so we've gone through it. Now we'll start going through the steps of the move. So that's coming, and there's, like I said, I need buy-in from everyone. I'm not an expert in the move, so I just want to make sure that everyone has a voice in getting the move. The second one is I'm going to leave even further and speak as school board president and say we've received, and I need to say this to get the word out because we have a short time frame to do it. We received a grant award yesterday, I believe, $4 million, and the $4 million, up to $4 million. It is a grant for internet access for our students. And basically it requires a 1-page affidavit that says you are not you don't have adequate internet. And most of the county doesn't have adequate internet. If you have 3 kids in your home and you've got, basically 25 meg worth of services, all you have to do is sign the affidavit, and we have 6 providers, including HughesNet, which helps us out in Wallace and those places, which is rather expensive. But this grant will pay for 1 year of internet access for any student in Harrison County. So basically, you just have to sign the affidavit saying that you have less than good, which is, most people in Harrison County. I live in Clarksburg, so I have fiber, but it doesn't mean that it's even affordable for some families. It's a fairly simple application, 1 page, but we need to get the word out because we need to get this as soon as possible. And we're up against it because school's running out. So we're going to get a letter out as soon as possible. We need as many people in that because we can use up to $4 million of that, but it pays for 1 whole installation included. So HughesNet for areas like Wallace, Sardis that can't get anything other than satellite, that's cost prohibitive generally because of the hookup fee that's paid for by this. And there's no billing on our part. Basically, these providers, once they get that, it's all taken care of. So it's up to $4 million. So I wanted to get that out. Yeah. And the newspaper did run, it was buried in our story kind of about our meeting last night. So hopefully, I think that they're going to run more comprehensive to get the word out, because there's 4 million on the table, and we all know our students can use internet. That's it.
Number 15, commissioner comments. I don't have any. Commissioner Treecost, do you have any comments? No. Mr. Hinkle?
Yes, ma'am. I think today we saw the county commission that's broken. Doesn't want to fulfill its fiduciary responsibilities. Agreed to sell property, not knowing value, how they intend to sell it, what they intend to do with the land, what they expect somebody to buy the land. And they have turned it over to an attorney who is not a representative of the county. And they are avoiding their duty to discuss and come up with a solution. Never since, I have only been a commissioner for 5 years, but I know talking to previous commissioners, this kind of thing would have never happened. It's something that the commission would have worked out and made a decision on their own. But at this point, nobody wants to discuss why we're selling it. Nobody wants to discuss what they expect to be developed there. Nobody wants to discuss what they want to sell it for. And I think this commission owes the people of Harrison County that before it even goes to the attorney. And I'm not sure who gets to direct our attorney, but it seems that comes under the heading of other commissioners get to tell our executive director to do whatever they want. I don't know how she ever got the authority to begin discussions with the attorney on what how we're going to sell the property. And I'm not really sure at this point who even runs the county. Because it seems to me that it's a Patsy Treecost commission. It's whatever Patsy wants. Patsy doesn't have to explain. So I don't understand why my other fellow commissioner, unless she knows what's going on, doesn't really care why we're selling it, or how much we're selling it for. And I just don't understand why nobody wants to question anything that he does. It always seems that whatever he makes a motion for, it's always rubber stamped.
So people of Harrison County, good luck on finding out until the day of the sale what the conditions are.
We have 5 minutes until 11 o'clock special.
Is there any reason for me to stay? Just, it's all right with you, I'll take that. Is there any reason for any of us to stay? Patsy's just gonna make a motion to pass it. If he's not there, I mean, I'll go ahead. Just go ahead and pass it.
Wait, see if anybody's coming from West Mill.
Came the other day and didn't even talk and he passed it. It was kind of a waste of time. I don't know why we asked him to come. So Trey, this commissioner's telling you not to work on it, so you can do what you want.
You're referring to the sale issue?
Yes, sir.
Understood. I'll take care.
You too.
Yes, this commission hasn't voted to ask you to do anything.
Have a nice day. Take care.
Did Jeff Barnhart make this request? He's on Zoom.
Jeff, are you going to speak to the 11 o'clock funding request? Mr. Barnhart? Jeff? Are you there, Jeff?
Susan?
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know what happened there on Zoom. It's not letting me log in or anything to talk to you, but I can hear you.
Okay, well, we can hear you now.
All right, fantastic.
Okay.
The request is for the Old Mill Festival. You may remember last year when we did the bicentennial, and it was a great receptive for the community, and the discussion led to it rejuvenating the Old Mill Festival that was last had in 1996. And so we like to request the $2,000 from the commission to continue the festival.
And you're gonna have entertainment. Let's see.
Yes,
You're gonna be
we
at
have
the-
entertainment. I'm sorry.
be at the community center too?
Yeah, the community center being located in the parking lot of the community center. So the community center, the indoors, the outdoors will all be utilized, and to bring the community and the folks together, and just enjoy a nice day of camaraderie and community, what it means to be a community.
What's the pleasure?
Move to approve.
$2,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion's been made to approve $2,000 for the Old Mill Festival in West Milford. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Good luck, Jeff.
And thank you very much.
Now, we have until 11:15, unless you want, you can do, Bridgeport, you've been here through the whole thing.
That's all right.
Do you want to wait for everybody else if we have others coming?
That's fine.
Okay. Appreciate it, Chief.
That's
Interim
okay.
Chief. We want to recess until 11:15.
Motion to go into recess until
Motion.
11:15.
Motion to go into recess until 11:15. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Motion to this session, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Looks like you're the Lone Ranger.
It's a very busy day.
Appreciate you coming.
You're welcome.
Take that top one.
Top one.
With pleasure. Whereas in 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Week, Memorial Day and the Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the calendar week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. And whereas the members of the law enforcement agencies of Harrison County play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of Harrison County. And whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibility, hazards, and sacrifices of their law enforcement agency. And that members of our law enforcement agencies recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppressions. And whereas the men and women of the law enforcement agencies of Harrison County unceasingly provides a vital public service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the County Commission calls upon all citizens of Harrison County and upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 15th, 2022 through May 21st, 2022 as Police Week, with appropriate ceremonies and observances in which all of our people may join in commemorating law enforcement officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered and dedicated service, to their communities, and in so doing have established for themselves an invaluable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. We further call upon all citizens of Harrison County to observe May 18th, 2022 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those law enforcement who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community or have been disabled in the performance of duty. And let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes. Passed by the County Commission of Harrison County, West Virginia, this 18th day of May, 2022. God bless you and thank you. Would you like to say anything?
We appreciate, I mean, all law enforcement as a whole appreciates this week. We get treated very well, and fortunately, we live in a county and community that really supports their law enforcement. You know, I think everybody that's been in law enforcement or is married to a law enforcement officer knows the sacrifices that they give of themselves and the family gives of themselves every day. And this is just a week to commemorate that and to kind of signify the passing of the guard from the people who wore this badge and this uniform before us to today.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Takes care of the agenda items.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.